Hello again. Now, another thing that it's very important you understand about perspective is that, remember, let me bring that out. Okay, so this is the file the page I used to explain to you how perspective works. Okay, if I, for example, were to get this box and move it further into the distance, this length that's here, even though in reality it's going to be the same, it's not going to be the same here, right? As the farther the objects are into the distance, visually that's going to be shorter. So maybe, for example, instead of doing this, which this line and this line would be the same, if I were to draw that box here, it would be way longer than this is. Okay, so as far as we do into the distance, is going to be a lot smaller. Okay, so let's figure out how we're going to deal with that when we work with perspective. Okay, so first let's do it in plan view so you guys get a better idea of how this works. Okay, so let's do a square. Okay, because sometimes when we are designing, we need kind of a unit of proportion to know how to, like, I don't know, translate a side view into a perspective. I don't know, for example, take this mouse into consideration. If we were to do, I don't know, to do how many squares long does this, like how long is it in terms of squares or cubes, and that way we'll give it a proportion. Let's just say that, okay, this is the base of my desk, okay, and let's just say that my mouse is something, I don't know, like this, okay? So I would want to know, if this is my maximum height, how many squares long this is, okay? So now if I can do it by eye, but it's not going to be that precise. So one way to do it is, I'm going to do this a little darker so you can all see. If I divide this square in half here, and one way of make sure that I'm doing it the right way is I can just go corner to corner with a straight line, corner to corner with another straight line, and I make sure that this half touches here as well. So that makes sure that this distance and the distance are the same all the time. Okay? So again, we divide this square in two sections. We go through the half. Okay? And if I draw a line from the top corner going through the middle of the line there, let's try it. Okay, it's gonna hit here. Okay, when I draw a vertical there, that means that I have drawn two identical shapes. Okay, two identical squares, and then I can just do it again. Okay, let's go through the point. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I would know that my mouse is around 3 squares long. Okay, now in perspective, it's basically the same thing. Okay, so let's see that, I don't know, let's do it with a cube. Alright, imagine this is my square. Okay, my vanishing point is over here. Okay, so I'm gonna get my corners up to the vanishing point. Oh, this was bad. Okay, so kind of there. And I want to draw these 3 cubes into the distance. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is kind of find out where my vertical goes here, so this is a perfect cube. So I can kind of break this into 2 perfect angles and say, okay, so maybe it's here, right? Around there. Okay, so the next step is, if I go again corner to corner, which is what we did here, then I can find my half and go into the vanishing point. Okay, so it's basically the same thing that we did here, making sure that the distance from here to here and here to here is always the same. Okay, so now the next step is going through the corner like we did here, going through that middle point and hitting the next one. Okay, so these are the 2 points that I want to join with the line and just continue, and it's going to hit here. Okay, now I can get another vertical here. Okay, Okay, need to make sure that this is really parallel to that one. Maybe I'm going to elongate a little bit to make sure that all my verticals are parallel, because they can start like getting inclined as we progress. Like let's say I want to do another cube into the depth. So I do that, it hits here, and there I can do my next vertical. Okay. So let's imagine that my mouse, instead of being almost 3, let's say it was 3.5. Okay, how do I do that? Okay, I can multiply in order to get a fourth one. Okay, get my verticals. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and if I want to find the half of this one, okay, like we did in the first one, I can go corner to corner, corner to corner. Okay, and find that line. Okay, so right now what I can do again is, okay, so I get my horizontals. Let's get this corner to the vanishing point. Okay, so now I have a 4 cube long prism. 3.5, I'm sorry, cube long prism. Okay, let's hit this. Cool. Okay, so let's see it one more time. Imagine you just have your square here. Okay, and let's use the same vanishing point. Okay. Let's go to the vanishing point, vanishing point, vanishing point, and vanishing point. Okay, I want to know where that line is. I'm going to use this side now. So I break it into 2 angles, and I say, okay, so maybe this is where my perfect cube is. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to find the middle line to go into the distance, so I can do the other cross here. It's this dot. I find a half here. So now I go into the vanishing point, right? Okay, now from the corner going to that point, okay, I missed a little bit. I need to make sure I hit it, because look at how much difference this is. Okay, so it's here. So now this is how deep a second wall would be, like a second cube going to distance. Then go corner to that intersection and do the next one. Okay, and notice how every time we go into the distance, this line keeps getting shorter. Okay, and now we have a 3 cube long prism. Okay, so for next class, I want you to try and practice this. This is going to be a little harder than the perfect cubes. Ideally, what I would want are 5 pages with around 7 of this in whatever combination of multiplications you do. If it gets hard, just try to figure it out, even if you don't have the 5 pages with 7. If you do figure it out real quickly, I really suggest you actually do that, because that's going to prepare you for the rest of the class. But if not, really try, see this video over and over again and practice it. The faster you figure this out and you become proficient, the better you're going to be off for the entire semester. Okay, so just making a review of what you'll do for class on Thursday when we meet. The first thing is the warm-up exercises every time you sit down to work. Okay. Second time is 5 pages of 10 perfect cubes in 1-point perspective. Second is going to be 5 pages with 7 prisms with some like elongation based on the multiplication of the curve of the cube. Okay, so that's what ideally you will have for us on Thursday. Practice that. On Thursday we're going to review this and we're going to check 2-point perspective as well. Right? Have a nice day, and I hope you practice a lot. Take care.